Hi everybody, and welcome to this Friday's tutorial. And as promised, last week I took you along to the Krullenmuller Museum, where they have a large collection of Vincent van Gogh's paintings and drawings. And of course my main interest goes to his drawings. And this is one you probably would just walk past, not noticing it. But indeed, this drawing can learn you so much about drawing directions and will teach you about light and the great vibrance of drawing in an impressionistic way. Now in the left corner you can see the picture that I took from this drawing done by Vincent van Gogh. And you may think it's not a very beautiful drawing or something, but in fact it is. And I was drawing in the museum itself, and I was drawing along with Vincent, and then I took that home and I made a live drawing tutorial about this, of course on my Patreon page, where I draw and talk at the same time. And here on YouTube I forward it a little bit to make it a little bit less longer. But the actual drawing took me about 48 minutes, and here I will be explaining to you how important it is and what to learn from all those directions that Vincent was drawing in. Now on the horizon line you can see that there is a lot of corn growing, and in the center of that drawing that Vincent made there is this reaper, and with the scythe he is taking down the corn, so he's reaping the corn. And on the bottom part you can see that his drawing direction is from left top to a right bottom. And of course you can do this with a natural charcoal, you can use charcoal pencils, or you can just use the graphite pencil if you want. But my main interest here is those drawing directions. The reaper itself stands out quite dark against the light that is coming from behind. And the lines in the corns are vertical. So the part of the corn that is not being mowed or reaped is standing upwards, and those lines are vertical, while the corn that has fallen down here at the bottom, those lines are diagonal. Now here, just on top of those corns, there is some kind of a fence, and also there are some farmhouses or tiny houses in the background, and they stand out also quite dark because the light is coming from behind. It is late summer and it's time for the reaping. And this is, I think, what Vincent was actually trying to grasp here. So he made a very quick charcoal study. So I tried to draw like Vincent did at that time when he made this drawing. And maybe it was a pre-study for a painting he maybe wanted to make later on. So he must have been sitting here and he was watching that reaper that is cutting down those corns with a scythe, and he was sitting aside with his sketchbook on his lap or something, or he had a little easel, and he was trying to draw in as quickly to as quickly and as accurate as possible to capture that light and to capture the action that the reaper was doing to to cut down those corn. Now, around the reaper itself, he uses a lot of dark. And once he started to draw in the trees, then we can see something quite amazing happening, because for the bottom part, the lines go from left top to right down, while in the trees he is drawing in exactly the opposite direction. So here he is mainly drawing in lines coming from the left bottom to the right top. Now what this does is quite amazing, because now actually you can see that the corn that is flattened down by reaping it, and that's my cat, while the trees are drawn in the opposite direction, this creates a lot of perspective, and it brings all that vibrance into that drawing. So that is why I stopped at this drawing. I started watching, and instantly I wanted to draw along. Some people would not have noticed this drawing, and there are not many reference pictures about this to be found on Google or something, Google Images. When you search for the Reaper or something, then there are only 1 or 2 examples for this drawing. But for me it was it was just astonishing. I was amazed by this drawing, because it tells us so much about how Vincent was thinking. And it also tells us a lot about how he paints, because you can actually learn the most from the sketches of the big masters, by watching their drawings and their quick sketches. You can actually get in their minds a little bit and learn so much more about the master than you would by just reading about them, or by simply watching their paintings, only watching them. By drawing along, you really start to study and start improving yourself as an artist. Now, what we also see is a lot of lights and darks. And as I was saying, it's late summer. And in this drawing, the sun is gradually going down. That's what I imagine. And this farmer here, he wants to catch the last of the lights and reap as many corns as he can. And what is also so amazing in this drawing is that the light is coming from behind. So it's coming from behind those little farms in the back, and it's coming through the trees. So what I did with the setup is first put in a layer of charcoal so that the paper isn't that white anymore. And now I can actually go in with an eraser, and you can use all kinds of erasers. You can use a kneaded eraser or a simple standard eraser, or even your eraser pencil if you want. And with that eraser, we start bringing back in that light. And what I also do is because this is a charcoal wash, and a wash means that he was using a brush to push in the pigments into the paper. So what you take is a sturdy brush, and then you can soften up the background where the trees are and the little farmhouses. And this also brings out the light very, very good. You can see the light now just on top of those corns and coming from behind the little houses in the back and just in between the trees and the tree trunks. And it's exactly those directions and the choose of where the light is coming from that makes this drawing, even though it's not a very particularly beautiful drawing, it still is a drawing that we can learn so much from, because it's quite coarse, but it shows us all the direction, and it shows us where the light is coming from. Slowly but certainly you can draw in a little more detail if you want. The side, the reaper itself, I think he has a cap on or something. And the hand is quite prominent in this drawing. So all attention goes to that side and the reaper itself. And you can see that dark shadow that is casted upon the corn that are laid down flat, because they got mown down with a sigh. And at the bottom part he is going diagonal, but also a little bit counterwise. And well, I love it. I love the way that he was drawing here. Very quickly, very coarse, but very, very sufficient indeed. Now and then, just stop this film, watch the drawing Vincent made. You can see it in the left corner, of course, the top left corner. And here I'm actually trying to draw along like I was sitting next to Vincent, watching the reaper doing his job. And what did it bring me? Well, a lot of knowledge and a lot of inspiration indeed. So I hope you will give this drawing a try. Just try his technique, try out the directions he was drawing in, and just see what that will do for you, for your art. And well, if you liked this video and maybe you want me to do some more grandmasters of art, drawing along with them, then let me know in the comments below. And of course I also hope for a big thumbs up for this try to get in the mind of the Grandmaster Vincent van Gogh, and maybe I will see you on my Patreon page. For now I say goodbye, and I would say see you next week.